أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجه الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله Amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum and welcome to Future Stars Live on Hidayat TV. I'm your host Hassan Shah and today we're talking about Salah and we're continuing on. It's been a long time since we talked about our last topic on Salah, which was Qasr Salah. And before I continue, I'd like to introduce our guest.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Misbah.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mohsen.
So thank you for joining me on today. So ages ago, about a few weeks ago, we did our last show on Salah. 2 weeks ago, we did our show on Salah, and that was about Qasr Salah. What do you remember from that? Qasr Salah, what was it?
It's like late namaz, right?
Late no.
Was it the if you were traveling?
Yeah,
The Salah if you were traveling.
Salah for travel. Yeah. And we said we went over rules, regulations, and we went over scenarios as well, and we applied to the scenario whether it will be valid to do Qasr or not valid to do Qasr Salah in that case, in that scenario. And today we're going over a different type of Salah. This one is Qaza Salah. Yeah? Misbah, you got the first thing, so we can start Misbah with the loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
In the case of Qasr Salah, the prayer to be recited by a traveller is made Qaza omitted and the person returns to his home. It should be made up as 2 rak'ah provided that the travelling was for a purpose that is permissible in Islam. If the travel was not an allowed one in Islam, then one should pray 4 rak'ah. If you are uncertain about the number of days for which you have to recite Qadha, it is sufficient for you to recite Qadha for the least number of days for which you believe you owe Qadha. You may, however, decide that as a precaution you should recite Qadha for any larger number of days. If there are so many that you have no clear idea how many Qadha you have, then recite as many Qadha prayers until you acquire the satisfaction that you owe no more. One can pray Sunnah must have prayers even if he or she has Qadha prayers to be performed. This rule is unlike fasting, in which all wajib Qadha fast must be completed before fasting any Sunnah fast. It is not wajib to pray Qadha Salah before you pray the regular Salah. It is strongly recommended to pray the Qadha of the day on the same day. For example, if it is Dhuhr time and you haven't prayed the Subh Salah, you can pray the Subh Salah Qadha after you pray the Dhuhr and Asr, but it is recommended that you pray the Subh first. Qadha Salah should also be recited in the proper sequence, i.e. Subh, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha, but this is not wajib. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajah. Thank you, Misbah. So Misbah, they started off talking about involving in Qasr Salah. So when the travelling Salah becomes Qaza, yeah, our travelling Salah can become Qaza. What does that mean? That we've travelled, so we have to do Qasr Salah now. And what's happened? That you've missed that namaz.
It will become a...
What if you go back home? Okay, so say this. I've travelled, meet all the recommendations for Qasr Salah. Yeah? So it's wajib for me at this area, yeah, to do a Qasr Salah. I didn't do the namaz, I came back home, so that namaz is Qaza. I'm at home now, I can do that namaz. What would I do?
You would still pray the 2 rakah
Yeah, of the qasr.
of the qasr salah.
Yeah. So it would be the you just have to make the intention that they're doing a qaza of the qasr, and whatever namaz it is. Yeah, so it would be Zuhr. If it's 2, well, it could be Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, or Isha. Well, Maghrib would what? Stay. What was the ruling? That Maghrib would stay free. So any of these, yeah, you will make the niyyah of this namaz. Yeah, you're doing qaza of the qasr of it. Yeah. So Mohsin, you've got the next thing. So can start Mohsin after the last salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. It is wajib on the eldest son to recite the qada prayers of his deceased father. For the other sons, if the eldest has died or is refusing to pray the qada, it is mustahab to recite the qada. If there are no sons, then again it is mustahab for the daughter to recite. It is not wajib. Also, it is mustahab for the eldest son to recite qada salah for his mother, unlike being wajib for the father. In all cases, one can hire or employ somebody else to recite the qada salah for the deceased. If the person reciting or arranging for the qada to be recited does not know how many salah the deceased missed, an estimate will be made, and that will be sufficient. A person can accept agreement to offer some mustahabs acts like ziyarat, umrah, hajj on behalf of living people. Also, he can perform some mustahab acts and dedicate their sawab to living or dead people. However, someone else cannot recite the qada of a person that is still alive, even if the person is so ill that he cannot recite it for himself. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. So thank you, Mohsin. So qaza salah is when what? When?
You've missed your salah.
Where? Yeah, so a time period has passed where you can't do that salah anymore. Well, it becomes qaza on you, which means that you've passed the time period. You see, this is how salah is. Even though it's past for the time for you giving that salah, it still becomes wajib on you through another way. Yeah, so no one can escape namaz. Yeah. So there was a ruling there that said what, Mohsin, that after your
Deceased one and passed away, then somebody else, like the eldest son, can pray it, or they can employ somebody else to pray it.
Yeah, so this is how important namaz is. So after, say, your father has some qaza namazes, yeah, he's passed away, it becomes a duty of the oldest son to do those qaza namazes for the father. Yeah. And what happens if there's any disruption there? So
they don't know how much it would
say he refuses to do it,
then the other sons have to do it, or the daughter has to do it.
Yeah,
basically mustahab.
Yeah, mustahab on them, for them to do it. Yeah, this is really important as well. Yeah, think about qaza. You don't want to be at the end of the day, you're just about to go to sleep and thinking, oh, I haven't done this namaz, or this namaz, I have to do qaza tomorrow. Yeah, you don't want either at the end of the day. Yeah, Maghrib, Isha time, that's where you do the rest of your namaz for the whole day. because this is what people would do. This is what I've heard, that in Maghrib Isha time they would do their namaz and then do the qaza for the rest of the day that they've had. You don't want this. And more even worse than that is when you're stacking them. Yeah. So the biggest advice to everyone is have no qaza, because for every namaz you would have to are accountable for them, every single namaz. Yeah. So there comes to a point where people are maybe 60, 70 years old and they're just starting to do their namaz again. Think about how much namaz that they've missed and they have to do them. Yeah. So it's better off, yeah, and easier if you do them now. Yeah, wajib on time. Yeah. Misbah, you got the next person. Next thing, so I can start most of Misbah is allow salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
A person who is hired to offer the qadha prayers of a dead person should be a mujtahid, or should know the rules of the prayers correctly according to taqleed, or should act according to precaution, provided that he knows fully when a precaution is to be observed. At the time for making niyah, the hired person must specify the dead person, but it is not necessary that he should know his or her name. Hence, it is enough if he intends, I am offering prayers for the person on whose behalf I am hired. The hired person should act with the niyah that he is acting to discharge the obligation of the dead person. It will not be enough if he performs and dedicates its thawab to the dead person. While hiring somebody, one should be satisfied that the hired person will perform the act for which he is hired. If the person hired for offering prayers for a dead person has not performed it, or has performed incorrectly, another person should be hired for the purpose. If a person doubts whether or not the hired person has performed the act, and in spite of the hired person's assurance he is not satisfied, then he must hire another person. But if he doubts whether or not the hired person has performed it correctly, he should presume that he has been correct. A person who has some excuse, for example, if he offers prayers with tayammum or in the sitting position, he should never be hired for offering prayers for a dead person, even if the prayers of the dead person may have become qadha in that way. A man can be hired on behalf of a woman, and a woman can be hired on behalf of a man. And in the matter of offering prayers loudly or silently, the hired person should act according to his or her own obligation. If it is not agreed with the hired person how many mustahab acts he will perform, he should perform as much as is usual. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Thank you, Misbah. So, this is how the rulings are set out for this. Yeah. What were some of them, Misbah, that you hire someone? What were these precautions?
That the person must clearly state that they're doing it for the person, but they don't need to know his or her name, and that they need to if they do it incorrectly or they've missed it, the person should hire another person to do it. And if
so there's some things that you might fear. So what's the reason in the first place that you're hiring this person? Yeah, your family member, your father. Yeah, say your father, he has passed away. He had some qaza, salat, and now you, because this is you can do this. Hire someone to do the namazes, to do those qaza namazes for in behalf of your father. You hire them, and you gotta make sure they were doing
properly.
Do it, yeah. And say if you have a doubt that they
didn't do it. Like,
yeah, that they didn't do it. What was the what was the
they
answer
should
for
hire
that?
someone else.
They
You should hire like
someone.
someone else to do it.
Yeah. What was the other one? If they doubt that he's made a mistake in the namaz, that they think he might have made a mistake in the namaz.
Then they should also hire someone else.
He should presume that he's been correct.
Oh.
Yeah, should presume that is correct. Yeah, and so these are the things just about qaza is a short thing. Yeah, a short thing that we can talk about, but it's really a really important thing that everyone needs to know about. Yeah, because obviously you miss. Some people may think you miss a namaz. That's it. Yeah, you just carry on, but you have to. Yeah, you have to account for that. Yeah, you missed a namaz. Now you have to do this to replace the one that you've missed. Yeah. So, the biggest thing just from this qaza topic, just to mention, is that keep them to the smallest amount possible. Keep them at 0. Yeah, and if you start when you're supposed to start, yeah, doing namaz. So if you get ready before your wajib to do namaz. If you get ready, then you know how easy it is. How easy it is just to do them, and you would have no qaza namazes. These are the things that will hurt people in the future, leaving their namaz now. Yeah, so keep in track and do your namazes so they don't become qaza. And if they do become qaza, make sure by the end of the day, make sure before you go to bed, you have no qaza salah left. Yeah, every night before you go to bed, you don't have to do any qaza namazes. Okay, so we've got one more thing that we can get into congregational salah. Yeah, so Misbah, you can start us off. Can we start Misbah with the loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
Salatul Jummah means prayers are offered as a group, i.e. more than 2 people. Praying in congregation provides us with rewards both in this world and the hereafter, such as loving cooperation, unity, prestige of Islam, discipline, Islamic equality, and unlimited reward. Allah has put a very big reward for Jummah prayers. Our Holy Prophet and our Imams have placed a great emphasis on Salatul Jummah. Therefore, whenever we get an opportunity, we should offer congregational prayers. People present in Jummah, each require worth 250 prayers, 600 prayers. Thereafter, it doubles until after the 11th person joins. 11 only Allah knows. Importance and conditions of Salatul Jummah. The following are a few examples of the importance of offering the congregational prayers. Number 1, unlimited reward as mentioned above. If a parent orders the son to offer Jummah prayers with love or otherwise as a recommended precaution, he should obey. When congregation prayers are being offered, it is mustahab, better too, for a person who has already offered his prayers alone to repeat the prayers in congregation. It is not permissible to absent oneself from the congregational prayers intentionally, and it is not proper to abandon congregational prayers without a justifiable excuse. When an imam is leading a congregation for the daily prayers, one can follow for him for any of the daily prayers. If one does not consider a particular imam as adil and he is already inside the mosque, then you should pray wajib farada between adhan and iqama, or wait until Salatul Jummah is finished as a mark of respect. Increase of rukn either intentionally or unintentionally makes prayer invalid, but in congregational prayers such increase is allowed due to the importance of Jummah. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. So, congregational prayers are really a unifying thing, yeah, and it's seen that this is how that your namaz, it should be prayed as a unit together, yeah. So this is why you get more blessings if you're in a congregational prayer, in congregational namaz, than if you were to do it at home by yourself, yeah. So this is why it's really recommended you go to your mosque, yeah, and you do the namaz there with everyone in the congregational prayer behind the person who's leading in the Maulana or who is it, yeah. It's really important. And Miss was going through some of the things there about how important this type of namaz is, yeah. If a congregational namaz is happening and you purposefully, yeah, stay out of that, yeah, and you do your namaz separately, you stay out of that, yeah, that is a bad thing to do, yeah. It's valid. It's only valid for you if you would go and join that namaz, yeah. So that's why even though the congregational prayer has started, yeah, that's why there's an option to join in the namaz even though they've already started, yeah. So there's always importance in the congregational namaz, yeah, and it's really a blessed thing, yeah. And just if there's 2 or more people, yeah, just more than one person, then you can do the congregational namaz. So Mohsin, you go the next thing, so you can start Mohsin off with the loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
The following are a few examples of the condition of offering the congregational prayers. For a full listing please refer to Islamic laws. The Imam of congregation should be Baligh, sane, Adil, recite correctly, of legal birth. 2. The Imam and the followers are both women. The obligatory precaution is that all of them should stand in line, and the Imam should not stand in front of others. In the first line immediately after Imam, it is mustahab if aged, learned and pious person occupied the first row, for it is mustahab that the rows of the congregation are properly arranged, that there is no gap between the person standing in one row or standing shoulder to shoulder. 5. If it is necessary for the follower that besides that which is recited in the prayers, he should perform all acts like ruku and sajda with the Imam or little after him, and if he performs them the Imam or after a considerable delay intentionally, his congregational prayers become void. However, if he converts to Furida, his prayers will be in order.
Salawat Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Thank you, Mohsin. So Mohsin over there went over a couple of things about the congregational I'm just going to be quickly go through this just as the last thing, and then we will be closing the show, yeah. So the Imam of the congregational namaz should be baligh, should be sane, yeah, you should recite correctly, yeah, should be adil and from a legitimate birth, yeah. If the Imam and the followers are both women, Then the obligatory precaution is that all of them should stand in a line. Then the Imam should not stand in front of the others. In the first line, immediately after Imam, it is mustahab if aged, learned, pious. So in the first row, it is mustahab to have allow the elders, the most learned, the most pious, to be to occupy that front row. And it is mustahab that it is really important that the rows are ordered really correctly and have no gaps in between people. It is necessary for the follower that besides that which is recited in prayer, he should perform all acts like ruku, sajda with the Imam or a little after him. So when doing the namaz, there needs to be some delay from whoever is leading it, from you who's partaking in the namaz. So as he's standing up, he will be standing up before you stand up. As he's going to sajda, he will go to sajda before you go to sajda. So you need to keep this distance, you need to keep this delay. And there are things that the person leading the namaz is reciting for you, which you need to be quiet in, and there are some bits which you need to recite for yourself. So if you're in a congregational namaz, if you're in the Jamaat namaz, the first two surahs, so in the first two rakats, there are two surahs said, Fatiha and another one, and in the second rakat, Fatiha and another one. These four surahs, that are being reciting, the person leading the namaz is reciting them. In this part, the person needs to be quiet. People in the congregation needs to be quiet. And then for other bits, like when you're in ruku, when you're in sajda, these are things that you would have a level of noise and say it yourself. At a quiet level of noise. So these are just a few things about Jamaat namaz, and we can go because we're continuing talking about namaz. We're going to be talking about the Friday Salah Jummah next week, but we will continue beginning with talking about Jamaat as well. Because there are a few more things that we need to cover. So hope you've learnt a lot. Hope people at home have learnt a lot as well. And we'll see you next week, same time, same place on Hidayat TV. But until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.